Thanks for joining us.
You're listening to Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast on the air since 1981.
And now, here's your host.
Welcome back to the program. Zev Brenner, very pleased that he joins us once again. It's been a while. Rabbi David Stav. He's the chief rabbi of the city of Shoham, the chairman of the Tzohar religious organization in Israel, serves as rabbi for the Ezra Youth Movement. He established his Tzohar organization following Rabin's assassination. He also ran in 2013 for the position of chief rabbi of Israel. His candidacy was opposed by some in the Haredi community, and in fact, but they thought he was too lenient in halachic matters. In one instance, he was assaulted by Haredi yeshiva students leaving a wedding. He is in New York right now, having spoken at the Jewish Center in Manhattan. Rabbi Stav, Shavua Tov, thank you for joining us.
Shavua Tov, good evening to you and to your audience.
Thank you. So I know that in the past you've spoken about the fact that Israel should not be a state of religion or a religious Jewish state. Do you still hold that position?
I want Israel to be a home for all Jews, and Israel, Baruch Hashem, is moving forward to that. I want Israel, and I expect Israel to be a place where all the kids of the Jewish people will feel comfortable. And know that just like in family, we have in our family people that are observant and are not observant. I want everybody to feel a part of the family, which means I want everybody to feel proud to be Jewish. And as every Jew that davens 3 times a day, I'm davening for all of us to do tshuva, but I want them to feel at home even when they're not observant and practice.
So in practicality, so should Israel be a religious state? I know you have a chief rabbinate, the Tzohar organization, tell us about that, really is an alternative to the chief rabbinate.
No, not alternative, but
in some ways you help people with conversions and with marriages, which is also the chief rabbi's domain.
Yeah, but let's distinguish between the two. First of all, we're not dealing with conversions. We would love to, but since the law does not allow it, we do not do that.
But some of your chief rabbis of the Tzohar are involved in conversion in their capacity of being chief rabbi of cities, correct?
If the law would allow that, but the current law does not allow city rabbis to be involved in conversions. That was one of our proposals, but I don't think it ever existed in the last couple of years. About marriages, we are doing marriages, that's true, but we do this under the auspice of the chief rabbinate. We serve like a kind of a proxies of the rabbinate. We perform every year more than 5,000 weddings. All of them are registered through the rabbinate. It's done in our offices, but all of this is supervised by the rabbinate, and Baruch Hashem, we get a lot of positive feedbacks from them.
So what difference would it make for somebody, or how would a wedding performed by a Tzohar rabbi be different than a wedding performed by, let's say, the chief rabbinate or somebody?
Halachically, there are no differences. Practically, there are many differences. It starts from the beginning. When you go to the rabbinate and you want to register, you can come at 9 o'clock and to wait there a few hours. By us, you make an appointment like in a private doctor or a private travel agent or whatever, and you come at 9 o'clock, you leave at 9:30 or 9:45. So that's how it begins. The way we accept the documents, you can send it via mail if you have forgotten something, which usually you don't do in the rabbinate. Then later on, you have the option to choose the rabbi you want to. You come to know him before you get married with him under the chuppah, via the rabbinate versus the rabbinate that you can meet the rabbi for the first time under the chuppah, because it's like a government office. You don't know who is the rabbi, because the rabbi is not a part of your community. It's not like America, where almost every couple that wants to get married in an Orthodox way usually knows the rabbi because he belongs to the community. At least once a year he comes to shul. That's not the case in Israel. So for most secular, they don't know any rabbi. So when they want to get married, somebody will be sent to them. By us, it's different. They meet the rabbi a few weeks before. If they want to change the rabbi, they can change. If they want an English speaker, French speaking, Russian speaking rabbi, they will get it. It's like a private VIP service.
But in essence, you're put on a friendlier face and less bureaucracy if they go through Tzohar, is what you're saying.
That's absolutely true.
What was the reason why Tzohar was formed after the Rabin assassination?
We were looking after points of conflict between observant and non-observant. We realized that the tension between the different groups in the Israeli society arrived to such a peak that if it continues this way, it's going to fall apart. So we started to look after points of conflict that has nothing to do with Oslo, with Rabin, with politics. And I think one of the issues that we discovered that time was that the relationship between state and church were the issues that maybe struck the secular Israeli the most. You know, if you are coerced to get married halachically and you don't get the right approach and the right attitude, you mess it up. And many Israelis fly to Cyprus because of that. So we said, let's take care of this. And Baruch Hashem, we perform every year more than 5,000 couples. And Baruch Hashem, that shows what trust and what faith people have in us.
Now, you're looking, and again, a lot of secular Israelis would come to you because you have a friendly face and make it easier to go through, especially weddings. What is the situation today after the October 7th, the Simchas Torah massacre of Jews, and things have changed in Israel? On one hand, you're finding Israelis becoming more religiously involved. On the other hand, there's a renewed tension within the Haredi community, not just in the secular Jews, but I understand there's a tension between the Haredi community and the national religious community as well.
Yeah, describing an accurate situation. On one hand, we see, I wouldn't call it a religious movement, but you see that more and more secular Jews are interested and are thirsty to hear and to know more about Judaism. You see this, you can walk in the streets of Tel Aviv seeing kids with tattoos on their hands or on the bodies and with tzitzis and without the kippah. That's not something unusual. You could see before Yom Kippur hundreds of thousands of secular Israelis coming to Slichot and to the Kotel, etc., etc. On the other hand, there is a huge tension between the Haredim and the rest of society, especially with the Dati Leumi people, with the modern Orthodox that paid a very, very heavy price in the recent war. And we have a lot of anger at them because they don't take a part in that effort that we all are part of, and they're not doing anything in order to carry that burden on them as well. There is a big tension about that.
That become more acute in the last couple of years because there was a working relationship between Haredim and the national religious or national Zionist, religious Zionist movement. But after October 7th, where you had so many of the best of the national religious party, that group that died, Kiddush Hashem, sanctify God's name in the war, and they felt resentment against the Haredi community. So it's so involved in trying to bridge that gap because it seems to be percolating even more now.
We try. I don't give that too many chances, but we do try to bridge that gaps. We meet with Haredim, but so far, the impression is that there is no political interest in the Haredi society to solve that problem and to be a part of that national effort. It's a problem.
It sounds like a major problem.
What?
It sounds like a major problem.
It is a major problem in two levels. In the level of the practical, we need fighters. We need combat unit soldiers. That's what we need. We need it desperately. The army needs every year now around 18,000 combat unit soldiers because we lost so many and because the needs of the army is so big. The fact that I could tell you that my daughter, and that's just one example, is married already 2 years and a half. And out of these 2 years and a half, most of the days her husband is not home because he's in the reserve. That's a situation that society could not last for a long time with that. And the only reason is because there is a shortage of soldiers.
So, how is now? You mentioned a lot of more people are interested in religion, the Jewish religion, Yiddishkeit, and Judaism in Israel. Does the fact that there's a Haredi problem hinder reaching out to secular Israelis to become more observant?
Look, I cannot. It's too early to judge it with numbers. I could tell you from Tzohar point of view, we see more participants in Yom Kippur prayers that were arranged around the country. This year we had around 100,000 people that participated in more than 500 locations, including the Hostages Square, where we had around 3,000 people that attended the services there. We see growth in weddings. We see a growth of more than the natural growth in bar mitzvot. We used to have 700-800 the maximum a year. Now we have over 1,400 bar mitzvot boys that want our teachers to teach them and to prepare them to bar mitzvah. Weddings, we see a phenomena of couples that got married in Cyprus, have already children, and after the war they're coming to us and they want us to marry them. And when we ask them, but you are married already, you got married in Cyprus, their answer is, well, we got married civilly. Now, after the war, we feel that we want to do it now in a proper halachic way. We see that. Was it different at the Haredi issue was solved? I believe that it was, but I don't have numbers that could approve it.
No, and by the way, you mentioned about somebody in Tel Aviv with tattoos, with tzitzis, but no kippah, with no yarmulke. Explain that.
Look, tzitzit became a trend in Israel. It began in the war because of several stories that tzitzit protected soldiers as a sign that distinguished them from terrorists. And there were stories about soldiers that when they opened the doors of the places where the kibbutznikim were imprisoned there or were were in closed rooms, and they asked them to prove that they are Jewish and not terrorists, they gave them tzitzit. There is a very famous story with General Tibon that wore a tzitzit for the first time in his life when he was in Nahal Oz, because he understood that that's the only thing that will distinguish him between him and the terrorists. So there were a lot of stories of tzitzit, but I believe that it's something which is more than that. During the war, many secular soldiers were exposed to religious soldiers that were wearing tzitzit, and it became a kind of a trend. And we have nothing against that trend. The opposite, we want people to feel that tzitzit
it's wonderful.
It's wonderful.
Is there also bulletproof tzitzit? Is that something that I heard years ago?
No.
I heard something about years ago, but they have.
The Gemara says, the Talmud says that when you are wearing tzitzit, it's protecting you, just like any other mitzvah. But I wouldn't build on that. I prefer, in that case, to wear a ceramic vest rather than just to wear only tzitzit. We should wear both of them in time of war.
Absolutely, both are protective of the body. Our guest from Israel, Rabbi David Stav. He is the chief rabbi of the city of Shoham, the chairman of the Tzohar organization in Israel. We're going to be right back. And if you'd like to participate in our conversation, by the way, our numbers are 212-769-1925, 212-769-1925. Email is a wonderful way to get your questions answered. Zev@talklinenetwork.com. Zev@talklinenetwork.com. Coming up a little later on, I'll speak to Lori Cardozo Moore. She's a Christian Zionist evangelical leader. She loves Israel, loves Jews. Luckily, she actually is Jewish, but she resigned from the Heritage Foundation over their embrace of Tucker Carlson. We'll talk to her about that. We'll also speak to Daniel Mail, who's an activist who takes Jewish organizations to task. We're going to be right back. Don't go away. Stay tuned.
Can't wait for that morning to come.
The Kabach will invite you to join them for Rav Shlomo Kabach's 31st Yahrzeit concert, Sunday, November 9th at the Westside Institutional Synagogue, 120 West 76th Street in Manhattan. I have the privilege of being the host and MC, so join us starring the one and only Yehuda Green, Eitan Katz, Ruli Williger, Cromer Band, the Mishabert Litzahal by Chaim Kiss. Tickets are $40 of reserve before November 1st at 11 p.m., $50 thereafter. VIP tickets are $125. This weekend has been made possible by a contribution from Joy Fishman in memory of her son, Jonathan Stampler. Don't miss the tribute concert tonight, November 9th, at Western Institutional Synagogue. Doors open 6:30 p.m. Concert begins at 7 p.m. For more information and to reserve, go to thekalbachshul.org. That's thekalbachshul.org.
Podcasts are everywhere, but cutting through the noise is tough. Did you know of the 5 million podcasts worldwide? Half of them only get 30 listeners? Want to reach a bigger audience? Think radio. Talkline Network gets you targeted listeners who are ready to engage with your message. Host your own show with us and supercharge your podcast's reach. We'll help you connect with the right audience. For a free consultation, call Talkline Network today at 212-769-1925, extension 100. That's 212-769-1925, or email zevbrenner@gmail.com. That's 212-769-1925, extension 100.
Imagine escaping the winter cold for 7 nights of luxury, sunshine, and world-class kosher cuisine at the stunning 5-star Renaissance Panama City Hotel. This is Panama Yeshiva Week 2026. From January 18th to 25th, Go Beyond invites you to join over 150 Jewish families from around the globe for an unforgettable vacation packed with adventure, relaxation, and community. Tour the Panama Canal, zipline through rainforests, meet monkeys on Monkey Island, and unwind on pristine beaches with all transportation and guides included. Enjoy gourmet glad kosher meals, kosher bar and tea room, a full-time mashgiach, and the culinary highlight of the week, Kosher Fest Gala. Whether you're a solo traveler, couple, or large family, custom pricing makes it affordable for everyone. Group airfare from NYC starts at just $499, baggage included. Don't wait, spaces are filling fast. Call 347-307-2677 or visit PanamaYeshivaWeek.com to get your personalized quote today. Early bird pricing ends soon. And who knows, you might even be interviewed live on Talkline with Zev Brenner while soaking up the sun in Panama. Panama Yeshiva Week 2026. Go beyond the vacation. Call Go Beyond now at 347-307-2677. That's 347-307-2677.
Hello, I'm Monet Binder, attorney and founder of Monet Binder Law. They say where there's a will, there's a relative. But what if your will or lack of one leaves your family in chaos? Have you ever wondered if the do-it-yourself will or trust could actually hurt the people you love? Or just any attorney can really protect your legacy? I'm inviting you to join me in a powerful free webinar, Estate Planning Made Simple, Wills, Trusts, and More. It's happening Tuesday, November 11th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And what you'll learn will surprise you. Discover how to protect yourself, your family, and everything you own from court, confusion, and costly mistakes. Learn why a proper plan can cost up to 5 times less than a basic one. You'll get to understand the halakhic side of estate planning and walk away with a gift worth $750 just for showing up on time. Call 718-514-7575 to reserve your spot. That's 718-514-7575. Or you can register at mbinderlaw.com/webinar. That's mbinderlaw.com/webinar. Your future deserves much more than guesswork. With Monet Binder Law, planning is made easy because your legacy is too important to leave to chance. Let's plan it right together.
Get ready to be amazed. Looking to add an unforgettable touch of mystique and magic to your upcoming event in the New York metro area? Look no further than Isaac Starwin, the mentalist and magician, for any party, any age, on stage or up close, featuring a variety of dazzling shows, mind reading with a Yiddishkeit theme for adults, custom made for each simcha, magic entertainment for kids, a mesmerizing mix of mind reading and magic for the whole family, close-up illusions while strolling through the reception hall, special Shabbos-friendly show, no muksa, perfect for weddings, engagements, Sheva Brachos, Mlava Malka, bar and bat mitzvahs, birthdays, corporate events, Shabbatones, and more. Call now, 305-STAR-WIN, 305-STAR-WIN. That's 305-782-7946, or email info@isaacstarwin.com. Isaac Starwin, the New York City-based mentalist who makes memories truly magical.
Thank you for listening to this episode of
Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast on the air since 1981. Please call us with your questions and comments at 212-769-1925. That's 212-769-1925. Or email us at zevbrenner@gmail.com.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
Okay, and we are back. Rabbi David Stav is here from Israel, the chief rabbi of the city of Shoham, the chairman of the Tzohar organization, serves as rabbi of the Ezra Youth Movement. We're looking at religion and Judaism in Israel itself. By the way, I remember at one point Tzohar got involved in kashrus. It
is still involved. We have over 350 restaurants and places where we supervise the kashrut, and we keep on going.
And is that hashgacha pratit? Is that part of it?
Hashgacha pratit actually finished with their supervision, and they asked us to replace them. They had around 30 places, so we expanded it to many other kashrut places. Baruch Hashem, it keeps on growing.
Now, why would somebody use your kashrut as opposed to the chief rabbinate?
There could be a lot of reasons, but the main reason would be when a restaurant would feel that they don't want to pay to people that do not show up, and they want, if they are kosher, they want to have a mashgiach where they know that they could trust, they know that the mashgiach will come in time. That's one thing. The second thing is that we don't allow the mashgiach to get paid by the restaurant, because we believe it's a conflict of interest between the supervisor and the one that he is supposed to supervise. And there are a lot of businesses that agree with us, and that's why they come to us.
Now, what about a restaurant opening on Shabbos, having reservations beforehand, but not taking any money on Shabbos? Is that allowed by your kashrus?
No, it's not allowed by our kashrut, not because it should not be allowed. It should be allowed. But in Israel, it's perceived as encouraging Chilul Shabbat, and therefore we don't want to be involved in it.
They allow in the United States. Why wouldn't a restaurant, if you pay beforehand?
You are 100% right. And what makes the difference between this and the hotel that has supervision? Right. Wonderful questions. That's the way it's perceived. The rabbinate doesn't give. We do not want to.
In other words, the chief rabbi doesn't allow you to do that, is what you're saying.
No. It's not. We're not depending on them. But since that's the official policy of the chief rabbinate regarding their kashrut policy, we don't want to be poretz gader. We don't want to break the fence.
Why is poretz gader? Why is it breaking?
In Israel, it's not common, and we don't want to be the first ones to do it.
But if it's 100% kosher, then why not make it? You in the weddings, you make it easier for people. You put a nice face. Why not the same thing in kashrus?
You are right. I remember when I was a child. I remember there was a good restaurant in Yerushalayim that you could buy tickets before Shabbat. It was in the center of the city. I remember myself eating there with my family. Since the rabbinate adopted that policy, despite the fact that I disagree with that, but I respect it.
But you can change it. Would they give you a hard time if you changed it?
No, they would not give us a hard time.
You would have more people eating kosher.
I'm not sure about that, but we will take it into consideration. We'll think again.
Jeff and Flatbush, your question for Rabbi Stav. Go ahead.
Shalom Aleichem. It's not really a question. The problem is in Israel, you got to admit, it's a pressure cooker society in every where you look. The problem in Israel, you have a pressure cooker, but you don't have a pressure release valve. Now, in modern Western societies, we have what's called a 2-day weekend. Actually, if you work in government or the court, it's actually a little bit more than that because everyone's off by 2 o'clock golfing on Friday afternoon. In Israel, if they would have Sunday as a day of recreation, you wouldn't have Shabbat and then fall right into it. Right now, what you have is you have some people who are not religious. They use Shabbat as a day of recreation, and the religious people use it as a day of spirituality. And so the religious people don't get a day of recreation, and the secular people don't get a day of spirituality. Just implement Yom Rishon, Sunday, as a day of recreation, and there should be 1 day of recreation following every holiday or whatever. And there was a South African rabbi who actually lobbied members of the Knesset to do that, and they all turned him down. They said, no, it won't work here. Yes, it will work there because that's what a modern Western society does. Sunday, and it should be Sunday. It couldn't be Friday.
My wife is a big advocate. There should be Sunday, should be a day off in Israel too, in addition to Shabbat. But let Rabbi Stav respond to you.
Recreation.
I think the question is assuming something which is true. I believe that had we had a Sunday in Israel, all the soccer games and all the shopping day that is taking place on Shabbat could move easily to Sunday. In that sense, the man from Flatbush is absolutely right. There is only one problem that I think prevents us from doing that, and that's because in Israel Friday is almost a day off, and that.
Excuse me. You didn't hear what I said. In America, the same thing. Because in America, if you work in the courthouse, as I do, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, all the judges are golfing. All right, so it's the same thing in all Western societies. But Friday shouldn't be the day off because you should have like 3/4 of a day on Friday or half a day on Friday, like they do in America. And you should have Shabbat and Yom Rishon, or Sunday should be a day of recreation. I don't know, how do you say recreation in Hebrew? No fish, I forgot the word for it. But there should be a day, it should be just like it is in every other Western country, and you'll be even with every other Western country.
All right, I'm going to let Rabbi Stav respond.
I fully understood what you said, and I appreciate the question. And there is a very famous expression that Rav Soloveitchik once said, that the Jews in America, at least most of them, do not have the feeling of preparing themselves on Friday to Shabbat. When I come to New York, and I see this very often in other places as well, people work until 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know about the court and about the judges. I know about the Jews that come to shul. Many of them come to shul direct from work. And in Israel, it's a more traditional place. And in Israel, Friday, we don't want people to work late on Friday, not even at noon. And that's one problem. The second problem is
one second, Jeff. Let Rabbi Stav. I'll let you go ahead.
I'm just trying to respond. And the second problem is, with all the respect to the Western world, but we know that there are prices that the Western society is paying for that long weekend, and the prices are that people get drunk on Sundays. There is a huge increase.
Nobody gets drunk on Sunday.
One second. Go ahead. Yes. Go ahead, Rabbi.
There's a huge increase of car accidents. We know what happened in Haifa and other places when there is a big recreation days or long weekends. And I'm not undermining the question. I really believe that we should have had Sunday. I could tell you that one of my friends, when he initiated that a few years ago, he was warned by the police, he was warned by other welfare services, that with all the respect to the Sunday that we want to have in Israel, it will lead to many, many consequences that could damage society. I'm not an expert in that. I could tell you one thing. I fully agree that we want a Sunday. I think that's the only thing that Israelis are jealous of the Americans, that they have Sunday. On the other hand, I know that the society will pay a high price for that, and it's a difficult question.
Jeff, I'll let you respond.
Okay, can I say something, Seth?
Go ahead.
Okay, in America, We have what's called, I know in New Jersey it's mostly this way. In New York, somewhat this way. We have what's called on Sunday blue laws. You're not allowed to drink alcohol or purchase alcohol publicly on
No, you can
Sunday.
drink it, you just can't buy it in some of the liquor stores.
You can't buy it. You can't buy
changed, but-
alcohol on Sunday. I know in New Jersey. In America, it's more international. I mean, in New York, it's more international. But a lot of states have blue laws, so that knocks out that question. But instead of looking for excuses, just do it.
All right, I appreciate your phone call. Yeah, okay. No, listen, people do want a day off, and I understand that in America you visit family. In Israel, you don't have that really because Friday is a short day. You can't really do much. And you mentioned the soccer games on Shabbat, for example. If they would have it on Sunday, it would probably make it a lot less Chilul Shabbat, desecration of Shabbos.
No doubt. No doubt. It's a very good point, and I'm in favor of that.
All right, but they're not going to be reactive very, very soon. So getting some questions, how do we bridge the gap? Because Israel is changing. In fact, maybe you can give us an example. How do you find, aside from the religious factor, more people are interested in religion, how is Israel changing because of the October 7th war?
Well, I'll just add one more point to the previous question, and I think that could be that with the assistance of AI, we are moving to a society that will not work not only on Shabbat, not only on Friday. Maybe there will be more days off in the future because the AI will work instead of human work. But that we'll see in a few years. About your question, how is Israel changed in the last 2 years? I think that in addition to the change that we've mentioned, a lot of people discover the families. A lot of people discover the youngsters. You know, we used to think that the youngsters are addicted to the cellular phones, addicted to the computer, to the games, to whatever they were doing there. We discovered so many youngsters that despite all these issues that I mentioned, they are devoted for the Jewish people, devoted for the Jewish state, are ready to sacrifice their lives. All of a sudden, we discovered the importance of relationship between the parents and the kids. I believe that many of us feel today that we did not respect the youngster, and we did not understand that they deserve our trust and our faith. And despite all the differences, and despite the natural gap between nations, between the generations, yet a lot of the messages that we believe that should be conveyed to the next generation have gone through, and Baruch Hashem, we see a lot of nachas, a lot of pride from the achievements they achieve. We believe that the Israeli society will be more unified when all the reservists will come back from frontline and will share with the society the experience that they experienced there. I believe that we'll see something new. On the other hand, we see a society in a post-traumatic situation. People could not believe what we've gone through. We don't know if we arrived to the end, but hopefully we are close to the end of that long war.
Are we close? I don't want to get political, but Hezbollah says they have a new leadership and they're ready to do battle, and Hamas doesn't want to give up the weapon. They have a new.
It's true.
So,
I'm not a politician. It's true what you're saying. Hoping that the war, at least in that position, in that situation, is coming to an end, we have to recover. The society was split, was divisive. The split before October 7th arrived to levels that were terrible. We hope that the coming year, which will have elections, will not be another year of big divide. Let's hope for the good.
Joseph Rice, the caller about Sunday off, is right. Keeping it the way it's contributing to people being Machal Shabbos, and I think he's right about that. You once ran for chief rabbi. Any plans to run again?
No.
Why? You
First of all, enough is enough. Second of all, I had a chance to run this time and I did not. and when the next elections, the next term will take place, I will be above the age that is allowed to run, because there is a limit of 70 years old. So I cannot run even if I wanted.
Why is there a limit? Some of the great rabbis in Israel, like 90, 95, right?
But the law doesn't allow rabbis to run above the age of 70, which is a smart law.
Our guest is Rabbi David Stav. He's here from Israel. He is the chairman, the founder of the Tzohar organization, also the chief rabbi of the city of Shoham. We're going to be right back. Don't go away. And our final stretch with Rabbi David Stav, we'll try to squeeze in a couple more phone calls. 212-769-1925, 212-769-1925. Email is a great way to get your questions answered. Zev at talklinenetwork.com. Lori Cardozo-Moore will join us, a Christian Zionist leader, actually halakhically Jewish. We'll talk to her about that. She resigned from the Heritage Foundation because they're supporting Tucker Carlson. And Daniel Mill join us later on, a writer, investigative journalist, podcast host. He's not afraid to tackle Jewish organizations and take the Jewish community to task over issues affecting us all upcoming. We're going to be right back. Don't go away. Stay tuned. This is the Talkline Network.
The Jewish Press is the largest independent weekly Jewish newspaper in the United States. It's packed with in-depth articles, interesting podcasts, information about the Jewish world, political and religious commentary, and more. Visit jewishpress.com, or to subscribe to the print edition or advertise, call 718-330-1100. That's 718-330-1100.
Hey, this is Alan Dershowitz, inviting you to tune into the Dersh Show, where we discuss the most important issues of the day. You know, the Dersh Show, all it's missing is the wits, and that's what I need you for, to provide the wits. We broadcast Monday through Thursday evenings at 11 p.m., courtesy of Rumble on talklinenetwork.com and our 24-hour listening line at 641-793-0382. Please join us on the Dersh Show to really get a grasp of what's going on in our world today, and you'll hear it directly from me through my lens, which you know is always going to be your lens. So thank you.
Imagine escaping the winter cold for 7 nights of luxury, sunshine, and world-class kosher cuisine at the stunning 5-star Renaissance Panama City Hotel. This is Panama Yeshiva Week 2026. From January 18th to 25th, Go Beyond invites you to join over 150 Jewish families from around the globe for an unforgettable vacation packed with adventure, relaxation, and community. Tour the Panama Canal, zip line through rainforests, meet monkeys on Monkey Island, and unwind on pristine beaches with all transportation and guides included. Enjoy gourmet glatt kosher meals, kosher bar and tea room, a full-time mashgiach, and the culinary highlight of the week, Kosher Fest Gala. Whether you're a solo traveler, couple, or large family, custom pricing makes it affordable for everyone. Group airfare from NYC starts at just $499, baggage included. Don't wait, spaces are filling fast. Call 347-307-2677 or visit PanamaYeshivaWeek.com to get your personalized quote today. Early bird pricing ends soon. And who knows, you might even be interviewed live on Talkline with Zev Brenner while soaking up the sun in Panama. Panama Yeshiva Week 2026. Go beyond the vacation. Call Go Beyond now at 347-307-2677. That's 347-307-2677. Get ready to be amazed. Looking to add an unforgettable touch of mystique and magic to your upcoming event in the New York metro area? Look no further than Isaac Starwin, the mentalist and magician, for any party, any age, on stage or up close. Featuring a variety of dazzling shows, mind reading with a Yiddishkeit theme for adults, custom made for each simcha, magic entertainment for kids, a mesmerizing mix of mind reading and magic for the whole family, close-up illusions while strolling through the reception hall, special Shabbos-friendly show, no muksa, perfect for weddings, engagements, sheva brachos, mlava malka, bar and bat mitzvahs, birthdays, corporate events, Shabbatons, and more. Call now, 305-STAR-WIN, 305-STAR-WIN. That's 305-782-7946, or email info@isaacstarwin.com. Isaac Starwin, the New York City-based mentalist who makes memories truly magical.
Can't wait for that morning to come.
The Kabach will invite you to join them for Rosh Shlomo Kabach's 31st Yahrzeit concert, Sunday, November 9th, at the Westside Institutional Synagogue, 120 West 76th Street in Manhattan. I have the privilege of being the host and MC, so join us, starring the one and only Yehuda Green, Eitan Katz, Ruli Williger, Cromer Band, the Misha Berkowitz Hal by I'm Kiss. Tickets at $40 of reserve before November 1st at 11 p.m.